Recording in progress. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing out there? You are now rolling with the D, and I am excited to be back in the studio, bringing another pod, bringing another video. But more importantly, I'm excited because of the topic or topics that we're going to be talking about today, which all is circling around this word, this term, this buzz, this hysteria, this mania, this scratch in my head. I don't get it. What is the deal? And the word or the phrase or the initials or whatever you want to call them is NFT. Nancy Foxtrot Tango. NFT. NFTs plural, because we are going to talk about NFTs as a subject today, what they are, why they are. So if you're just tuning in to Rolling with the D, this is one of a few different podcasts that I do where I come to you and we just talk about what I'm paying attention to, things going on in my world, new information, new topics, business, hustle, life, whatever is going on. If you're rolling with me, you're rolling with the D. That's what you come to this podcast for. Also, if you have not checked out some of the other pods, the YFYI podcast, a brand new Tanzo Hisami podcast, our new scissor company has a podcast. We have Style Pro 1.0, which is a salon-focused, product-focused style tip podcast. And of course, we have this podcast. So in the podcast world, we've got plenty of podcasts for you to tune into. So thanks for joining me. Make sure you're following Rolling with the D podcast for all future past episodes. They will be rwtdpodcast.com. And definitely drop some comments, notes, questions. There's a lot to unpack when it comes to this term, or it comes to this phrase, or it comes to this topic of NFTs. And me personally, I've been trying to wrap my head around it for a couple of years. You know, it started to become, it came on the scene. Now, it's not like it came on the scene a couple of years ago. It's probably really just come to the front of the focus in the last year and a half to 2 years. But 3-4 years plus is when it started to emerge. But it's really just started to take off in the mainstream because of certain events that have happened. You know, when artist by the name of Beeple sells an NFT for 60 plus, I think it was $69 million, that gets everybody's attention because people are like, holy shit, what do you mean you sold a JPEG, right? Because it's what people think. It's a digital image or a picture. And they're like, you sold a digital image for 69 million. How does that work? And so we're going to talk about how that works. And we're going to talk about some of the initial thoughts that I had, which some of you might have, and why, if you're a beauty professional, I'm a beauty pro, right? You know, owning salons in the beauty business, why you not only want to be paying attention to the space of NFTs, but very closely why you may want to be thinking about the lane that you're in and how that lane is destined to intersect at some point with the world of NFTs. Now, we've seen them appear in sports. We've seen them mainly in art. We've seen them in different kinds of businesses, but it's kind of taken a more of an artistic, you know, at the helm. But I want to go under the hood and talk about, you know, some of the key terms, what NFTs are, and why I think that you really want to start paying attention to them, because they're not going anywhere anytime soon. They're just going to become more mainstream. And if you think about, I'm going to throw up a little image here if you're watching the video of some of the key terms and things we're going to highlight on this episode. We will be doing many more. We're going to dedicate segments. Who knows? We may even dedicate an entire podcast to NFTs. Currently, I'm working on a project, an NFT project coming soon. If you follow me on social media, you may have noticed some things I've been putting out recently about the space, about NFTs, dropping little hints. I'm a student. Like most, there's a ton of stuff to learn, but I promise you, if you're going into the holiday weekend, you know, we got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, you may have some downtime. There's enough on the internet right now. Besides this podcast, where I'm going to give you my, you know, view. You know, you got to hear things 7 different ways from 7 different sources before you get it. So I'm going to give you a source. I'm going to kind of give it to you in my terms, my layman's knowledge, and my like level of overview. And then there's a deep dive you can do. You can go on websites. I'm giving you a bunch of resources here today, places you can go, but I'm going to give you the nuts and bolts. I do own an NFT. So I'm not coming at you with like, oh, I did some research and here's what it is, guys. No, I'm a practitioner. I will never come on a podcast, on a stage, in a book, in a whatever, not talking about things that I'm doing or have done. So I'm a practitioner. So I do own an NFT. So the process from start to finish, how that happens. And those are some of the things I can give you as personal insight. So the term, let's start with the term, right? What is the term? The term NFT. What is an NFT? Let's start with that first and foremost. So an NFT simply stands for, the simple answer is it stands for non-fungible token. Non-fungible token. So an NFT is a non-fungible token. So then you got to ask yourself, well, what is fungible? Because I don't know, right? I barely graduated high school. So what does fungible mean? So I look up the definition of fungible, and fungible, essentially what the definition explains is fungible is something that can be replaced by another identical item, mutually interchangeable. Some other words for fungible are exchangeable, indistinguishable from other, you know, think about some of those words: substitutable, right? Substitutable, convertible, switchable, you know, in a sense, you know, if you look at regular money, if I have $5, right? If I got a $5 bill, and this might not be exact, but if I give you a $5 bill and you give me one back, okay, I still have $5. The value hasn't changed. It's essentially the same thing. It's interchangeable as long as it's not counterfeit, right? I'm going to take your 5 unless my 5 is non-fungible. Now, non-fungible means there's only one, right? So when people start to collect things, it's a one of, it's a one-off. There's only one original. Now, here's where things get a little crazy, because when you think about, you know, all these NFTs are essentially their digital assets, right? So the painting that I alluded to a little bit earlier, people sold this painting. It's a digital painting made on a computer with maybe Photoshop or whatever. That digital painting sold for 69 million. Now you can go on right now, you can Google Beeple paintings, and you can Google Beeple painting 69 million and get a great picture of one on your phone. You could take a screenshot, crop it out, and have it on your phone. So you technically could have a digital picture of the Beeple painting. Why is yours not going to be worth $69 million? And here is the reason: is if you think about other collectibles that are physical, right? So we can kind of bridge this gap here. If you come into my house, right, and I got a copy of a high resolution replica copy of the Mona Lisa hanging on my wall, you might be like, why do you have a fake Mona Lisa on my wall? Because you're going to assume like I don't have the Mona Lisa, right? There's only one Mona Lisa, and it's I think it's in Italy, in the Louvre, in the museum behind like 310 feet of glass. You can go look at it, but there's only one original. Plenty and plenty and plenty and plenty of copies. I can go to the gift shop in Washington, D.C. and buy a copy of the Declaration of Independence or buy a copy of the Constitution, but there's only one original, right? And maybe in that original, they made, you know, they did up 2 or 3 of that original. Then there could be 3, right? That would be kind of in a series, but that would be it. Right. So those would have the highest value, not the copies. Now, where this crosses back over from physical to digital is because what we're talking about here and how these things are built, how these assets are developed, they're using something called the blockchain. Now, let's get into a little bit of blockchain. So when you think about a blockchain, I've got a diagram up here. When you think about a blockchain, the reason it's called a blockchain because there's blocks of codes or numbers or hashes that are linked together, and they're all in a series. One hash links to the other hash. So like in this example, there's a hash that links to another hash, or a code that links to another code. And then from that code, another code is created. So that code then links to another code. Now there's 2 links, and it continues on and on and on. So there's no breaking these up. And every code is connected to another code in this chain. And you could think of this chain as proof, right? So if I create this digital piece of art and I turn it in to a non-fungible token, essentially I'm giving it a unique ID that's going to sit on computers that are shared around the world. So it's peer to peer. So there's computers and computers and computers. So that's where there's other term of no centralization. So there's not like a central computer that has all of the codes. It goes from computer to 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 computer. So it creates this chain and this link. Now, every single one of these digital tokens or these digital NFTs has a unique code. So they're non-fungible. So you can't just interchange. Like I can't just say, oh, here's this, and you're going to give me something. It's going to be like the same exact thing because there's only one code for that one unique. So it's a one of one. So that's one of the things that separates it and makes it, considered non-fungible. Now, if you had the original, let's go back to Mona Lisa, right? Then you could pretty much do whatever you wanted to do with it to an extent, right? You could display it somewhere, you could show it somewhere, you could maybe open a viewing center where maybe you even charged people to come and see the original, right? You do your own thing. So you own that, and you own some of those, we'll call them rights, to do with what you want to do with. Now that's where the NFTs kind of become unique in a sense, because underlying, right, this digital image with this unique code is something called a smart contract. And this smart contract is where I feel the biggest opportunity lies in the world of NFTs. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how I'm thinking about it. And we'll stick with the Mona Lisa since we've been using that as like a little case study or whatever. So say I got the digital NFT and it's called the Mona Lisa, and then I have that Mona Lisa, and with that Mona Lisa comes this contract that gives me access to, I don't know, an event at the Louvre where the actual Mona Lisa is. And if I own the NFT, the digital NFT of that Mona Lisa, then I can go to an event at the Louvre. Next year there's going to be some kind of an event or a ceremony. And now maybe there's other pieces of art that are up there with that, Picasso's or this one or that one. So you have these maybe 100 pieces of the rarest art on the planet. Decide the actual owners, whoever owns those, decide they're going to create an NFT. So if the Louvre is the museum, right? The Louvre is the person that owns it. They say, we're going to create an NFT of the Mona Lisa, and boom, we create this NFT. We're going to sell it on the marketplace, which we'll talk about where these things are sold. Somebody that buys it not only has the digital version, but they have the code, that one existing code that gives them access to come and see the Mona Lisa at private functions, that maybe gives them access to meet a certain person, that maybe gives them access to have a private viewing party or a dinner once a year at the museum in front of the actual painting. So there's all these different things that you can attach to the smart contract that's connected to the code that's connected to the digital piece of art. So it's not really the digital art in itself. If you think about it, it's the smart contract, but the digital art represents the smart contract. And those two things are tied together with the blockchain by a code that is one of one. So there's no copying it, right? If it was, and here's where the vulnerability could have came in. If there was only one computer that controlled all of it, somebody hacks in, boom. But because the blockchain goes from computer to computer to computer to computer, and it's decentralized, there's no one place, you'd have to hack essentially every computer in the networked world if you wanted to try and do it. So that's not going to happen. I don't care what kind of hacker you are. So that's where there's that safety and security. Now, the first time you may have heard about, this term cryptocurrency, right? Blockchain was Bitcoin. Bitcoin became the most popular cryptocurrency. So you have one Bitcoin. Now, here's where it differs. And here's where we're going to get into what the difference is with NFTs and Ethereum, which is, another form of crypto. We'll call that cryptocurrency because it is, and Bitcoin. So if I give you one Bitcoin and you give me one Bitcoin, they're worth exactly the same. So we're just trading coin for coin. So that kind of goes back to the money example earlier. You give me a 5, I give you a 5, boom. If your 5's newer than mine, doesn't matter. It's still worth $5. Doesn't matter. It's a 5, it's a 5. So Bitcoin to Bitcoin, people can exchange Bitcoin. Bitcoins are also on the blockchain. They also have codes, but they're not unique, right? So Bitcoin to Bitcoin, if you give me 2 Bitcoin, I take 2 Bitcoin from you, we still have the same amount of money. If we were to convert them back to, US dollars, for example, I think right now a Bitcoin's worth like $56,000. So if you give me a Bitcoin, I give you a Bitcoin, we both just gave each other 56,000. There's nothing special in that. That's fungible. Now, Ethereum works the same way. Ethereum's right now, like one Ethereum as of the recording of this is worth about $4,214. Over the past year, it's gone up almost 500%. It's gone up a lot, but doesn't matter because if I own one Ethereum and I give you one Ethereum, you give me one Ethereum, we both still have one Ethereum, we both still have $4,214. Nothing special about that. But when it becomes special is when the NFTs, the non-fungible tokens, started to build using Ethereum. So Ethereum, the way that it's built, it created a platform to build things on top of it. And one of those things, the thing that we're talking about today, are NFTs. So Ethereum is really it's part of the currency, but it's more of the platform that NFTs are built on. And so that's where Ethereum becomes a special type of cryptocurrency in a sense, because that's what we're building NFTs on. And that's where NFTs are traded on. Now, are there other cryptocurrencies that may have their own version of NFTs you may see people be able to build on? Yeah, but right now the leading one is Ethereum. So these are the terms that I'm giving you right now: NFT, non-fungible token, and Ethereum is what you're going to need if you want to get into the game. Now you can buy Ethereum. There's a little website, one of the most populars, called Coinbase. And now I've got my little screen share here. Some of the terms I'm going to share. So Coinbase. So Coinbase is a great platform to go on. You go on there, you can buy, you can trade, you can learn, you can watch, you can just investigate cryptocurrencies, all different types, but definitely you can watch the prices, see where they're at. Now you can buy. Now, if you wanted to buy some Ethereum, you could buy it on Coinbase. But then the next phase, if you wanted to take it to the next level, you're like, okay, that's cool. I get it. I can buy some, just like buying stock, right? On a Robinhood app, you can buy stock and now you have it there. You bought it with money. If you sold it, you're going to have money, and that website is connected to your bank account. But then there's another layer when it comes to NFTs if you want to get in the game. And this is where adding these layers and these parts of the blockchain and the decentralization and the security and the cryptography of keeping everything owner tied comes into play. You're not just going to be able to go out and say, hey, I want to buy an NFT. You know, I own Ethereum. It's on Coinbase. That's great. It has to go somewhere else first, right? It has to go somewhere else so it can get coded and it can be in your name and it can be unique to you. And that's what's called a wallet. So in order to get your, let's see here, we're gonna do an arrow here. So we talked about NFT, right? A little bit about Ethereum, the pricing of Ethereum. Like I said, as of today, the pricing, $4,214.39. If you had one Ether, they're called Ether. You can also buy fractions of Ether. So if you don't have $4,214.39 to buy a whole Ether, essentially a whole Ether coin or whatever you want to call it, you can buy fractions. Maybe you had $300, $400, $500. So you could still get in the game. Just like you can buy fractional shares of Amazon if you don't have $3,000 to buy a full stock. So this is something you can also do. So now you've got, and this is the little symbol here, you know, for Ether, it kind of looks like, you know, like a diamond, a couple different upside down, diamond inside, triangle, but it ultimately looks like a diamond. So if you start seeing that symbol around, that's what the Ether symbol looks like. So now you're like, cool, Sonny, this is all good. The artwork, right? We're going to talk about some of the most popular projects out there. You kind of get in it where that non-fungible token comes in. Okay, I own that. I have the smart contract. I have whatever is entangled with or part of that smart contract I now have. I own that. And the one of one being non-fungible, the uniqueness of it. So then we jump into, if I go on Coinbase and I buy $500 of Ethereum, right? And that gives me, you know, 0.00 whatever of Ethereum. And then I want to go and check out some of these NFTs and buy them. So one of the most popular places to go and learn about NFTs, to look at different projects that are going on, to browse, is going to be on this website called OpenSea. They have an app as well. It's OpenSea.io, the website. You can get the app in the App Store. But OpenSea is going to be aftermarket. It's going to show getting ready to launch, trending now, all kinds of different projects by different artists all over the internet. It's going to show what the prices are. It's going to show it in Ethereum. You can also look at it in dollars. You can find ones that you can buy now. You can find ones that you can bid on, similar to like an eBay, where you can bid and there will be a sale on one and it'll have a certain time limit till when the sale's over. The other thing is, the nice part about the blockchain and the nice part about this entire market is it's all public. The ledger is public. So no one can be like, oh, I own the Beeple art and they have the screenshot and they show it to you. Okay, let me see the ledger. Because the ledger is public. I can go on Etherscan. I can look up the Beeple art and I can find out who the owner is, or at least a pseudonym of who owns it. But I can look at the actual code and see, okay, you don't own that. So you're not going to be able to screenshot your way into the party, right? Because if you come to that party, back to that Mona Lisa example, you showed up at that party at the Louvre and you were like, oh, I'm here for the party. I own the Mona Lisa NFT. And they're like, okay, let me see your code, or let me see your token. And they can authenticate that token. And if you cannot authenticate that token, then you get no entrance. And so that's where there's no scamming or, you know, trying to pretend you own it and you don't own it, or screenshotting it and acting like you own it, you don't. So that's where that code being tied to one individual comes into play. So you can actually see on OpenSea different projects, different artwork, who owns it, how much they are, and that's a good place to browse. But you still haven't bought anything yet. And this is where we're going to get into the buying. This is where it gets fun. So when you want to buy something, right? You went on Coinbase, you're like, boom, I'm going to put in, 500 bucks. You got 500 bucks of Ether. And you went on OpenSea and you found something cool that you liked. And you were like, oh, cool. And it's in your price range. Right now you want to buy it. So you're like, okay, I want to buy it. So the first thing OpenSea is going to do is going to say, well, you got to connect your wallet, because your wallet, just like your actual wallet, is one of the most important things that you have. And that's what controls your cash. It has your spending power in it. Your identity is tied to it. You've got to create a wallet so you can connect a wallet. And one of the best places to do that, Coinbase does have a coin wallet. It's a separate part of their company. So if you're getting the Coinbase app, and most of these are all apps. So you get the Coinbase app, there's also a coin wallet app. You can have more than one wallet, just like in real life. You can have Ethereum in more than one wallet, just like real life. And most of the wallets you can have NFT tokens in more than one wallet, just like in real life. But that wallet is going to have a unique code, unique phrase, going to be tied to you. You're going to have the login. If you lose the phrase, you lose your wallet. So remember that you're going to have a unique phrase, a login to that wallet. And some people call it a seed phrase or a secret phrase. It's going to be like a bundle of words. And if you lose that, you lose your wallet. So when you're setting these wallets up, a lot of times they recommend, write down your phrase on a piece of paper where no one knows where it's at. Keep it in a safe place. You could keep it in multiple places, but if you lose that phrase, no one can recover that for you. It's not like, oh, I forgot my password, and then you're just like typing shit in. And no. So this is what I'm telling you. This is why there's no fake in it, because no one's going to have it. Unless you give that phrase to somebody or they put a gun to your head, they're not going to have your phrase. They're not going to be able to log into your wallet. If you have it secured with Face ID, they're not going to have your face. They're not going to be able to log into your wallet. And so if you want to buy an NFT, you're going to need to set up a wallet. So you can do that on Coinbase. They have a wallet called Coin Wallet. One of the most popular and well-known ones, and this is why I'm sharing this one with you guys today. This is one that I use. I also have a Coin Wallet, but MetaMask is the one that I'm using. So MetaMask, if you go on there, it takes 2 seconds. You're going to set up your wallet, and then it's going to give you your key phrase. You're going to put that in a safe spot where nobody knows. You're going to have that phrase to log in. Maybe you also have your Face ID on. Boom. Once you set up your wallet, there's not going to be anything in your wallet. You're not going to have any Ethereum in there. You're not going to have any tokens in there. But if you went on Coinbase or you went on another website and you bought some Ethereum, you connected your Visa, your bank account, you bought your 500 bucks of Ethereum, there's going to be on there an option for you to send that Ethereum somewhere. You can send it to another, a wallet. And when you send it to your wallet, that's when you're going to connect to your now created wallet, whether it's Coin Wallet or whether it's MetaMask. And so it kind of makes you think, like, so if Coinbase has Coinbase and then they have Coin Wallet, why don't they have it together? And that's the whole decentralization part of it. Because they're almost two separate computers talking to each other. And that's what is so unique about the blockchain, decentralization, and the way that these currencies are moved around the internet. Yeah, they could have it all under one roof. If they had it all under one roof, they're compromisable, right? If they had your wallet under one roof, your NFTs under one roof, your ability to sell, trade under one roof, you're compromisable. So they separate these things, right? And then they work on a blockchain. So now you've got your 500 bucks. You go to Coinbase, you send to, it's going to ask you what your wallet is, whether it's Coin Wallet, MetaMask. In this case, it's MetaMask. You'll connect, you'll log in, boom. Those things link up. You transfer your $500 worth of ETH into your MetaMask. Now you're ready to go shopping. So now when you go on a marketplace like an OpenSea and you're looking at this cool piece of art, this cool image, this cool digital whatever, you're like, I want to buy that. You see how much it is. you're ready to buy. Guess what you do? You say, I want to buy it. And as soon as you hit buy, it's going to say, oh, connect your wallet. You connect your wallet. And then it's a few clicks, you're going to make the purchase. Now, once you make the purchase, that new NFT that you just purchased is now in your wallet on your MetaMask. So you'll have an area we can see how much ETH you have. If you spend it all, it's gone, obviously. And you'll have an area we can see what tokens you have. And if you click on that token, it's going to give you all the information on your token. It's going to give you the ledger, so you can see how everything's connected. It's going to give you your smart contract. It's going to give you the actual digital image. It's all going to be in there when you look under your token. It's going to give you if that token has a number attached to it, which that isn't a big secret. I mean, because say that back to that Mona Lisa example and all those other artists, say they only created 100. So you have number, you had number 70 out of 100, number whatever out of whatever. So you'll have all that information in there. You'll have, a little bit about the project, the source, the link, but the asset contract is going to be key. And this is now stored on the blockchain. It's one of those blocks connected to another block by a link that cannot be broken. By a link, I repeat, that cannot be broken. So now that's how you create ownership. Now you own that. Whatever you do with it, I mean, unless it says something in like the smart contract or there's some rule that you can't, you want to, take that digital art, make it your profile picture on your social media, which I'm sure a lot of you people out there have probably been wondering, like, what the hell is the deal with all these people changing their profile images to these cartoonish looking characters, these monkeys, these apes, these pixelated whatevers. And we're going to get into that in just a second, but that's going to be yours to do what you will with it. Now, here's where I think things can get really cool. All right. These are some of the applications that I'm thinking about. So you take a digital version of whatever that digital thing is, right? You decided maybe you want to draw a picture, right? So you sit down and you start drawing. You're not really a great drawer, but you draw like a stick figure. It kind of looks cool. You do some coloring. All right, you got this piece of paper. Now what? Now you have no idea how to use Photoshop. You're going to have to get some help with that, or Adobe, or one of those, because you're going to have to turn that picture into a digital version, unless you did it on the iPad and you already got it digitized and you're ready to roll, right? So now they turn it into a digital version. And then with that digital version, you then can create your NFT, which you can actually do that on OpenSea. So if you really wanted to get busy, you could literally create your own NFT and over a weekend, if you did some research, and you could put it on the market. Now, is anybody going to buy it? That's a whole nother thing. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of projects out there that no one's going to do shit with. Yeah, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I think the project is really what speaks to people as well, right? So if I started a project, right, which I may be doing, I have a pair of scissors, right? I created them. I take this picture of the scissors. I digitize it. Now it's a digital form. I then take that digital, I go on OpenSea, I create an NFT, I sell that picture. Who the fuck would want a picture of a pair of scissors? No, I don't think anybody. But what if, now here's where I think we can get creative. There's 100 of these different, each one has different assets or different attributes. So one scissor's open, one scissor's closed, one scissor's got this, one scissor. So I create 100 different versions. So they're all unique, all 100 of them. There's only 100 of them, right? Because I'm creating an NFT. It's non-fungible token. It's going to be connected on the blockchain, sit on the blockchain. One person can buy one, right? You can trade like trading cards or like trading anything. If somebody's going to trade you, you can trade, and then you would transfer ownership to them, and then they'd be the only one to own it. But what if I took those and I had these 100 images of these scissors that when you owned a pair of scissors, you also got a physical pair of scissors. You also got a ticket for access to a exclusive haircutting class that happened once a year. You also got a ownership in another event, company, product that was coming out, right? Maybe the next version of a scissor that was coming out. You also got fill in the blank. You also got one-on-one time with your favorite hair cutter in the world. You also got, so all of these also gots is where the smart contract comes in, because now there's 100 of them. That's where the values, you'll see values go up. I mean, there's things out there, a couple projects I'm going to talk about here in a second. Well, you're going to see the values of some of these projects. It's like ridiculous. It's like how the hell is that worth that much? But that's the way it goes, because they're building value. Now, it could be just that, maybe it is just that piece of art and you're willing to pay, 5, 10, 20,000, how much ever, 69 million for that. I don't know what else you get with that Beeple painting. Maybe you just get the rights and the bragging rights and the ownership rights to the painting. Maybe that's it. I mean, maybe with that Mona Lisa that's sitting in that Louvre, it's just about ownership. That could be. But for me as a business person, I'm starting to think like the possibilities and the what ifs. And this is why I think that NFTs and ownership of NFTs and using the smart contract and things that you can layer into the smart contract is going to be where you could create tremendous value, where that stick figure isn't just a stick figure. That stick figure gets you a ticket on a cruise that's going to the X amount of countries. That ticket gets you exclusive dinner where there's only, 100 people, and the people that buy it, right? These people are coming together for a mastermind. Once a year, you're meeting in the Alps somewhere. That cruise could get you ownership to, maybe they own a Formula One racing team. And when you buy this NFT, you get part ownership of that, like stock in a team, a sports team. Who knows what the possibilities are? I mean, some things I've seen recently, real estate. They recently, as a test case, there were some people that were like, oh, they're going to try it. And they actually pulled it off, but selling real estate through using an NFT. So think about that. So what the person did was they owned a house, they created an LLC, and then they sold their house to their LLC, and then they turned their LLC right into an NFT. And so if you bought the NFT, which was like a digital image of the floor plan, then you actually now owned whatever that LLC owned, which was the house, right? So you then bypass a bunch of paperwork, a bunch of other bullshit. So that actually just happened. I think it was in Ukraine. So what else is possible, right? What else is possible? Imagine tickets, like season tickets to games. If they became NFTs that included this, and this, the value, you could trade them, you could sell them, you could use the underlying value would go up if the team is, adding different things to it. So these are just possibilities. And these things are going to affect, I think, in every area, from real estate to finance, obviously, because you're still dealing with a cryptocurrency that's going up in value, to dealing with originals, art, to dealing with sneakers. I know Nike is testing some stuff in the sneaker world where they're going to create, like, how do you, digitally own sneakers? Well, you have a picture of them, you have a digital version of them, but think about this, guys. Where do you think we're going with the internet? What about when you show up in the metaverse? Facebook is building, Disney is building. You show up in the metaverse, what are you going to be wearing on your feet? Are you going to be maybe wearing a digital pair of Nikes that's a one of one that you have the ownership of, so you can use in the metaverse? You're not going to be showing up with them if you don't own it, right? Because I'm sure like the gatekeepers of the metaverse are going to be like, okay, boom. You know, it's like you're going to own that stuff, just like something you actually own in the physical world. You'll own stuff in the digital world that you will then floss and sport and wear a hat, a shirt. You will then take that stuff and you will then wear it in the digital world. You'll rock it in the digital world. You might own two versions of it. You might own a physical version of it and a digital version of it. And if it's an NFT, boom, right? You have the ownership of it. So it's not that hard to get your head around when you think about it as physical and digital as one. It is a little bit when you think about like, well, it's digital. I can't really wear it, right? I can't really, but you really can, because in the digital world, just like your avatar, right? Your avatar, now you see like you can start to, you know, put different hair on them, put different hat, glasses, whatever. Okay. And then that represents you in the digital world. So even like in an application like Snapchat, right? You start going through, you see they have Nike, they have this, you know, different brands where you can dress up, or different team swag you can dress up. That's like tip of the iceberg, because anybody can put that stuff on their Bitmoji, right? If you go on the Bitmoji app right now. But what about when you get into exclusive stuff that you can wear? And then you're interacting with people, and then you got virtual reality where you're out there and you're in there and you're now interacting with one of ones, and you show up at a virtual reality and you're just like you showed up at the club before, and you were rocking a pair of something. You're like, I want to wear something that nobody else is going to have. Boom. That's going to be where NFTs can come into play. So owning stuff digitally, yes, it's kind of tricky in a sense to get your head around it when you first start thinking about it. But as I start thinking about it, it makes sense. I mean, I own stuff physically. Why couldn't I, or shouldn't I be able to own stuff digitally? But how you can use those things and what you can do with those things and the underlying smart contract is where it becomes different. Like we can all almost, I mean, if you can, you can, you can't, you can't, I can't say all, but you can own the iPhone, you can own the new iPhone 13 Pro, right? Now, they have a price. And if they decided to come out with an iPhone 14 Pro and decided they were only going to make 500 of those in the world, what do you think the price would be? Right? That kind of sense of scarcity, exclusivity, what features would it have? Then you decide how much money of yours are you willing to part with. Right? And if you decided, you know, that was worth 100,000, then you could create a bidding war, or it could be just as a set price. When they're gone, they're gone. Like we've seen people do this before. When Snapchat first came out with their spectacles, they did this. There's only so many. They would unlock a, you know, a vending machine in a certain area for 24 hours, not unlock it, but where you could go and purchase them from the machine. So the machine's loaded up with so many pairs. Once they're gone, they're gone. And people were just like foaming at the mouth. I know I was waiting to see like, where's this vending machine going to be? Because I want to be there, because I want to buy a pair. Right? How am I going to get to these? And so they create that. And adopters, always there's early adopters. Now, some of the earliest adopters are making out like you wouldn't believe. And I'm going to give you some numbers when I talk about these two projects. So these two projects that I have behind me, I've got these apes right here. The little hat says BAYC. That stands for Bored Ape Yacht Club. And then these other guys I got behind me over here, they kind of look like little pixelated, cartoonish characters. Those are called CryptoPunks. So CryptoPunks were one of the OG NFT projects, and Bored Ape Yacht Club is currently one of the most popular projects in the space. Now, just to kind of, remind ourselves, one Ethereum is worth $4,214.39 as of this recording. And since I've started the recording, it may have fluctuated up and down. I don't even know. But I'm just going to, just so we can have a little fun here, we're going to talk about these two projects. So Bored Ape, and I'm just going on my OpenSea app, and I'm putting in the search bar Bored Ape Yacht Club. And so it gives you a little snippet, little paragraph about what it is. And it says the Bored Ape Yacht Club is a collection of 10,000 unique Bored Ape NFTs. So 10,000 different versions. So 10,000 different versions means, 10,000 different, whether they're attributes, clothing, colors, hair, whatever it is, there's 10,000 different unique Bored Apes. So when they launched this project, that's the number that they set. Some people use 10,000, some people use 5,000, some people might use 50, some people might use 100. So they decide. So that means that there's 10,000 that are original owners are going to own, and then it's onto the secondary market, resell, trade, hold, whatever they want to do. And that's what makes prices fluctuate. So currently there's 5,000 or 5.85K owners. So over 5,800 owners. The floor price, listen to this. Floor price means the lowest, right? This is where the bottom is. This is the bottom. The floor price for a single ape, one Bored Ape, one little, 1x1 square image of an ape that you're like, I can go and look at that same image on Google, screenshot it, crop it out. Yes, you can, but you don't own it. Just like you don't own that Mona Lisa, you can have a copy of it, but having that exclusive right to that one copy, the floor price is 44.9 ETH. So let's just do a little math here. 44.9 times the current price of 1 ETH, which is 4,214.39 cents equals. All right. Hope you're sitting down. So the bottom, the floor price right now to own one of these apes. Okay. The floor price, we're talking floor, bottom, $189,226. $189,226 and some change. So did they start at that? Absolutely not. But that's where the market is. The market decides what these are worth. And you can go on here and you can look at some of them and see, what they're selling for, how much they're selling for. If there's bids, you can go in and have fun with the OpenSea app all day and check them out. But that's just that one project. One of the most popular now, the Crypto Punks. Let's check them out. So Crypto Punks. So they also started with 10,000. So Crypto Punks launched as a fixed set of 10,000 items in mid-2017 and became one of the inspirations for the ERC 721 standard. So the ERC 721 standard, that's like blockchain terminology. So that's what the standard is for pretty much all of the NFTs that are created. They've been featured in places like the New York Times, Christie's of London, Art Basel, Miami, and the PBS NewsHour. So there's 10,000 items. There's currently 3.23 thousand owners. So that tells you, right? Some people got more than 1, 2, 3 of them. And traded, and this is as of right now, activity, so 724,000. So that's kind of what's going on right now. And so as I'm looking at some of these, 7 hours ago, there was a sale. 12 hours ago, there was a sale. And you can see what punk it was. Number 6544 was sold 7 hours ago. You want to know how much? You want to know from who to who? Go on OpenSea. You can see all that information right there. But I'm going to tell you right now, the price it was sold for 7 hours ago, 110 ETH. Okay. 110 ETH. So 110 ETH times $4,214, $463,540. That's one of the CryptoPunks. Now think about this. This is since 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's 4 years. So what was the price of that CryptoPunk 4 years ago when it was first sold? That was 4 years ago. So now we're talking 4 years later, who knows? But $400,000 sounds like it's probably a pretty good return. So I want you to be thinking about taking some time when you get a minute. I want you to go on OpenSea. I want you to browse around the market. Go on Coinbase. Look at the prices of some of the cryptocurrencies. If you're feeling froggy, if you're feeling it, if you got, now listen, here's the deal. I got to do the disclaimer. This is not investment advice. This is not meant to be, this is entertainment only, all that kind of disclaimer stuff. I'm not trying to give you any investment advice. Know that if you do put any money in anything, you may lose it all. So be comfortable. If you go on there and you buy some Ethereum today, it's 4,200, and you wake up tomorrow and it's $80 and you lost your shit, you do not come back to me and tell me anything about it. I'm sorry, but I lost mine too, that means, and that's just the way it is, right? We don't know what the market's going to do, and especially with the cryptocurrencies, it's like a roller coaster. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, when I first got into Ethereum, it was like under $2,000. Now it's doubled in price. So I could buy a lot more then, but it's also worth a lot more now. So that's the thing. So if you decide to go, but I want you got to get your feet wet. You got to taste it, right? You got to get in it to win it, right? So you go on there, learn about the pricing. If you're feeling up to it, you get a little bit of Ethereum in your account. Set up your wallet. These are the steps, right? Set up your wallet. Go to MetaMask, set up a wallet. Now you've got a wallet. Maybe it doesn't have anything in it, but you're starting to get into the game. Go on OpenSea, start to look at different projects. Last thing I'll leave you with is Discord. You go on Discord. Discord is an app. Like most, Discord is an app. Looks like a little remote controller. You go on the Discord and you go on and you log on to it. You create your Discord account and you can get into, most of these projects have a Discord channel where it's almost like, it's almost like a chat room in a sense, where it's dedicated to different topics that have to do with their project, different people in their community. And you can go on there and you can start to learn. And so that's where you're going to be able to kind of follow along. If they're doing a big announcement, they're doing some giveaways, they're doing just information, you're getting to learn, like you're learning about, what the project's about, what the Ethereum, anything you are trying to learn, you're probably going to be able to find some answers in there. So go on the Discord, start checking it out, start following their channel, start looking at, what's happening, what they're doing, what they're up to. You'll meet different people. You can chat, you can learn. And pretty much, like I said, all these projects will have different Discord channels. So download Discord, spend some time over your holiday weekend, learn about some of this stuff, have some fun with it, and just get your mind going. Because this term, just like www dot whatever www, we don't even use that term anymore. But when that first came out, everyone was like, what the hell is www? What's the World Wide Web? Blah, blah, blah. Well, why is this important? Is this a fad? Is this a whatever? It's not going to matter. Now everybody's got a .com, right? Everyone's going to have an NFT. Everyone's going to have an NFT approach. Everyone's going to have an NFT strategy in their business. Everyone's going to have an NFT strategy in their personal financial portfolios. So it's not going to go anywhere. We're on the beginnings of it. Think about from 2017 and now what's happened. And now you're starting to see athletes, movie stars, big business, small business, everyone's getting involved. You're starting to see. And when you go on my social media and you see something going on my social media, it's because it's already happened, right? I'm not at the forefront, guys. I'm just bringing it to you as I'm getting it and I'm learning about it and I'm tasting it and I'm in the game. I've got some of my own money at stake, but if you are putting your money in there, just keep in mind it may go to zero. So whatever that amount is, be okay with that, because I don't want you to come crying back later like I lost all my shit. What happens now? What happens now is you rebuild, you're broke. I mean, that's what happens. But if you go into it and you decide that, you got only 500 bucks to play with, it's like a casino right now, because you may not know the project, but if you're passionate about it, you do some research on it, you get in the Discord and you're like, you know what, this project they're launching called, floppy heads. It's a bunch of picture of like floppy heads. And these are the other things that they're working on, because they'll give you a little timeline, things they're working on, what the project is going to involve. If there's different things that are attached to the NFTs, all that stuff, you consume all that, you get in the Discord, you like the community, you go ahead and you get first in line, you get in the beginning phases of it. In a project that I'm in right now, I was in the minting phase. So there's, 10,000 unique ones, they said, right? 10,000. And so in the beginning, when it first opens up it's usually going to be on their actual website. You'll go on there to mint, or basically to claim, in a sense, one of those originals. And they'll have a starting price. You'll connect your wallet and you'll either be down with that price or not. There's also whitelist. If you're VIP, you can get on VIP list up front. Sometimes there's pre-sales. And then you get it and you don't know what you're going to get. You just know it's going to be unique, right? So if you went on Bored Ape Club when it started and you got one of the first apes ever, you're sitting there now and maybe you got it for, $1,000 and now it's worth $100,000. You're probably like, holy shit, that was the best thing I ever did in my life. And then once they're gone, they're gone. And that's when you hop on something like an OpenSea and you can see aftermarket reselling. Some people are on there, they're flipping. Some people are on there, they're holding, but make sure if you buy it, right? It's something that if you end up holding it, it's cool and you'd want to hold on to it. And it is yours, you own it. And it may go up, it may go down, it may do both, but just keep that in mind. So learn about the project, learn about the people behind it, see if you're into it, try it out if you dare, but do your homework. All these terms, internalize these terms, study up on these terms. The information is out there. Hit me up if you have any questions, any comments, any what ifs. I'm in a dozen different Discord channels now, watching different projects. Some I'm involved in, some I'm not. I don't have my money in everything, right? This isn't my life savings. I'm not going but I am involved in it as I'm working on my own project. I'm also learning, become a student, learn about it. And I'm also learning at the same time. I'm tasting at the same time. I put my money where my mouth is. So reach out to me if you have any questions. I'd love to help you out, answer anything that I can. But again, remember, we're all learning together, but it is an exciting time and it is an exciting opportunity. The NFT space is real. There's been a lot of talk about it, but it's here now, guys. So I want you to pay attention, because it's gonna intersect and interact and affect your life in one way or another, in one of the many aspects of our lives as we know it. So that's all I got. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. It's 2021. We're finishing out the year. I'll be back with more. I'll be talking about this stuff a lot. Check me out on the Instagram at SunnyD 1.0. On the Discord, you can find me on there. Hop in some of the channels, learn. Take a screenshot if you're watching this, share it with a friend, share it with somebody you care about, share it with somebody that you may think be interested in some of this. So this is the podcast, Rolling with the D, RWTD podcast, a place where you come to get a little checkup from the neck up. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Maybe it will be me, or maybe it will be a Sunny D NFT. I'm out.